Welcome back, Curry Crew. Today's recipe is delicious and awesome. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So guys, before we jump into this recipe, like always, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Punch that notification bell, and let's jump into the full video. So today we're making our delicious homemade mango ice cream. So step 1 is to take 6 cups of whole milk and pour it into a large pan. We're going to bring this to a boil over high heat, and once it starts boiling, we will then reduce the heat to low and cook our milk until it is reduced to half its starting volume. So in our case, it should go from 6 cups to 3. In doing so, we're removing all of the possible water from the milk, and this will help us reduce the ice crystals that may form in our ice cream when we start to churn it. So now that our milk is boiling, we're going to turn the heat down to low and cook out that water. So after about 60 to 90 minutes, the milk should be reduced to half its original volume. After this, we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of sugar for every cup that is left in our pan. So for our 3 cups, we're going to add in 9 tablespoons of sugar. Now, this may not be as sweet as you are used to, but remember that our flavor component will also add an additional sweetness to our ice cream. If you're using a flavor like vanilla or something plain, then you can add more sugar right now based on your liking. This whole time our milk is still on low heat, and after we add in the sugar, it is now time to mix. We will continue mixing this for about 10 to 15 minutes until our sugar is completely dissolved and mixed in completely with our milk. However, make sure to keep stirring to avoid any milk from sticking to the bottom of the pan and causing any burnt bits to form and ruining the taste of the ice cream. Next, take the milk off the heat and let it cool. Meanwhile, in a separate pan, take half a cup of milk and heat it up until it starts simmering. In a small bowl, take 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk, and to that add 1 teaspoon of custard powder. Give it all a nice little mix, and we are using mango flavored, but you can use plain or vanilla depending on what flavor ice cream you are making. Then you're going to take this mixture and add it into our simmering milk. Give it a nice little stir and cook out our custard powder. You will know it's ready once the mixture starts to thicken up a bit and smell like custard. While our custard is cooking, again in a small bowl, take a few tablespoons of milk, and this time half a teaspoon of agar-agar or gelatin. We're using agar-agar instead of gelatin because it's completely vegetarian. Give it a nice little mix, and then add it to the custard once it's done cooking. Once our custard is done, turn off the gas, add in the agar-agar, and give it all a nice little mix. After this mixture is done, you can add this into our milk base from earlier, give it a nice little mix, and then add in 2 cups of heavy cream. Again, give it a nice stir, and next we're going to use either a hand blender or a whisk to remove any clumps that might be left behind in our ice cream base. Now this is where you can start adding in your flavorings. So you can use any flavor that you want, vanilla, chocolate, whatever it may be. For us, we are using 1 cup of mango pulp. If you're using big pieces or chunks like nuts or chocolate or anything like that, you might want to wait until you freeze this ice cream base for a bit and it starts to resemble soft serve or gelato. That way you don't have too many chunks with ice crystals. This is also when you can taste your ice cream to see if it needs any extra sweetness before you start churning it. So we decided to add a tablespoon of honey and just give it a nice little mix. And then what you're going to do is you're going to let this mixture cool down completely before you start churning it, because you want it to start at a very room temperature level. So if you're using an ice cream maker like we are, we're just going to pour our mixture into the center canister and surround it with some ice and salt to help bring the temperature down, and then we're going to start churning it. However, if you don't have an ice cream maker, you can transfer the cooled base mixture into an airtight container and place it into the freezer until it is frozen. Then remove it, cut it into small pieces, blend it in the blender, and then return it back into that same container and freeze it again. This will incorporate some air into your ice cream and make it a little bit more smooth and rich, while also removing all ice crystals. So we churned our ice cream for about 3 to 4 hours, or until our ice cream looks like soft serve or gelato. Then we're going to put that whole container into the freezer for about another hour or so until our ice cream is completely finished. And after that, our ice cream should be set and ready for us to enjoy. It looks amazing, and I can tell you guys, it also tasted very good. I couldn't wait to dig in, and I'm sure you can't either. So guys, enjoy. So guys, hope you enjoyed the recipe. It's one of my favorites. It tastes amazing, and you're gonna fall in love with it as well. So try it out at home, let me know how it turns out, and keep on cooking.